Happy Friday. Have you ever wondered why somebody who had cancer would use GLp1 and what are the health benefits of using something like this? So, my name is Blair Critch, and I'm going to share with you my story today and then share with you all the amazing things that I have learned about peptides, about GLp1 since taking this journey. So, I actually had ovarian cancer back in 2020, 2021. If anybody else in here has ever experienced that, please drop below. It is definitely one of those experiences in life that really catches you by surprise, knocks you on your butt, and then you have to figure out how you're going to climb yourself out, right? And so when I found out that I had ovarian cancer, I also found out that I had the PALB2 gene, which is a cancer gene that some people have. It usually is related to pancreatic cancer, but my dad had it and had bile duct cancer. My aunt had it and had breast cancer. And then I found out that I had the gene. So when I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer and was told I would have to go through 6 rounds of chemotherapy and a hysterectomy, I started researching immediately about biohacking, preventative health, all these different things so that I could really make sure two things. One, my ovarian cancer never came back or any other cancer. And second, that my boys would have ways to biohack their system because if I have it and my dad has it, my aunt has it, they have a 50% chance of getting it. And they're teenage boys and they're not going to stop using cologne and deodorant and stop drinking out of plastic water bottles and eat plant based like I do. So I want to find ways to help them. As I started down this journey, I learned so much. And I'll tell you another reason that my eyes were opened is I've always been pretty healthy, I thought, but when I started my chemo journey and that first night after chemotherapy, I was so sick, throwing up, felt like somebody was stabbing me in the stomach and really miserable all night. The next day I started researching and I read about going completely vegan during chemo and about fasting during certain times of chemo. So I started on that approach and I also started working with a functional doctor with some herbs and things that I was allowed to take during chemo. Started doing some nervous system regulation and lymphatic work and acupuncture and infrared and all these different things. Well, one of the things that I realized after my second round of chemo and not throwing up at all, I'm actually feeling really great through the rest of my chemo. The only issue that I had was feeling tired and nauseous. But people would see me bald, no eyebrows, no eyelashes, because that's what happens. And they'd still say, I can't believe you're glowing, Blair. Like, you actually look really good. And that's because I took my health into my own hands. And I really took Eastern medicine and Western medicine and I married them together. And so that proved to me that there is something to be said about taking your own health journey into your own hands and trying to find multiple approaches to your health. So I started learning a lot about peptides during my studying of functional medicine and holistic health and started going down this rabbit hole and realized that I think this is the approach that I need to start taking. My oncologist wanted me to wait 1 year post-cancer, which I totally respect and understood. But during that year, I was thrown into medical menopause. And if any of you ladies are in menopause, drop below some of your symptoms because it ain't fun. And I had every single one because they say a lot of times when you go into medical menopause, you get everything. Well, I got everything. We're talking itchy skin, itchy ears, irritability, anxiety, which I've never really had. My hair was growing back really pretty, but the top was thin. My eyebrows weren't really growing back. My skin looked very dull. My legs started getting this crepey skin. I was very itchy. I got like 18 to 20 hot flashes a day. I was having night sweats. I was waking up multiple times at night. I was bumping into things. I was forgetting things. Like, it was crazy. I had hip pain and foot pain. And actually, cold shoulder and hip pain are associated with menopause, and a lot of times doctors don't even know that. It's when your estrogen levels drop. So, long story short, I was miserable, and I gained 30 pounds in a year, even though I was eating vegan, working out, and taking care of my nervous system and lymphatic system. So I knew something was wrong. I knew my insulin was not working correctly. I was probably insulin resistant, which quite often happens when you're in perimenopause, menopause, and midlife because of the toxins in our environment, because of our cortisol levels increasing and our inflammation levels. So, also at the time, my cholesterol was hiking up really high and my blood work just wasn't great. My liver enzymes were a mess. And so my functional doctor said, we are going to start you on semaglutide. So as soon as my oncologist gave me the all clear, we started on a GLP-1. And I was very nervous about it, as I'm sure a lot of people in here are nervous too. I started researching and learning a lot about it. It had been out for a long time. It's just that they were doing all these studies because they had found out 20 years ago when it first launched for diabetes that people were losing weight and having other health benefits. So they started doing all this research and studies so that they could start actually sharing it in another way, which now it's being presented in weight loss. However, my functional doctor has been sharing this with people for 18 years for other longevity benefits of it, including post-COVID helping people get the inflammation down after they had COVID. So I started on semaglutide, and within 6.5 months, I shed 33 pounds. But that wasn't even the best part. The best part was my blood work. Not only did my cholesterol go down, my A1C levels get better, but my liver enzymes got better, my kidney health got better, my thyroid health got better, my inflammation markers went down, and my favorite part was my blood cancer marker, which I get done, or not blood cancer, my cancer blood marker. I get done every 4 to 6 months. When I had cancer, it was 168, post cancer was 20 to 25, and since I've been on semaglutide, it's been 7 or 8. Now, that January, after dropping those 33 pounds, I didn't want to lose anymore. So I stopped cold turkey, which was not the right thing to do. You always want to titrate down besides stopping like that. But, I didn't know and nobody was telling me what to do. So I stopped and I didn't feel good. I noticed that my foggy brain came back. I noticed that my neck discomfort came back. My hip pain came back. And I talked to my functional doctor and she said, let's put you on a microdose. Which, by the way, if you have not checked out lemd.com from the person who invited you into this group, I highly suggest you do, because if you go to our longevity category, we actually sell microdose GLP-1. We're one of the very few companies out there that does this for the health benefits. So I started on microdosing, and what I noticed was I felt really good again. All those other amazing things that I was noticing were back, but I wasn't losing any more weight, which is what I wanted. I wanted to stay at the weight that I was at. Now I've been able to maintain that 33-pound weight loss for almost 2 years, which is so exciting for me, because as somebody who's 5 feet tall and has struggled with her weight her whole life, I have gone from a size 4 to 10 probably 20 or 30 times in my life. It's crazy. And so this was really exciting. And it's the first time in my life where I'm not thinking about food all the time. I'm finally eating to fuel my body. I used to be so jealous of my husband. He'd be like, well, I just eat because I need to eat and I want to take care of my body, not because I'm thinking about food. And so that is so exciting to me, that now I eat because I need to fuel my body. I know that it's lunchtime. I'm going to go make myself a healthy lunch. I'm not starving and just eating whatever's in the fridge. And I really love that about this. But I just recently had my blood work done with my functional doctor. I actually still get it done every 4 to 5 months. And what we noticed was my cholesterol had gone up again and my lipids. And the only thing that I had changed is that I actually went down to an even smaller microdose level. So if you order semaglutide microdose through LEMD, it's 25 units. And I was actually only doing like 5 or 10 a week. So I was doing like a quarter of what they were telling you to do or less. And I just did that because I really didn't feel like I needed much of it anymore. I'd been on it for almost 2.5 years now, and I just felt like, why would I still need that same amount? So that was the only thing I changed. So when we went over this on my medical report yesterday, my functional doctor said to me, Blair, you've got to get back on the full microdose level of semaglutide. And that's going to drop your lipids and it's going to drop your cholesterol. And I've seen it time and time again with my clients. How crazy. Like, I didn't even realize it was that effective and that it's that important. And instead of going on a statin, which you're on for the rest of your life and can actually change your DNA and has a lot of side effects, I'm choosing to microdose GLP-1, which has, yes, some side effects, but they're all positive side effects, like helping me maintain my A1C levels, my thyroid health, my liver enzymes, my kidney health, and my cholesterol and lipids. So I'm encouraging you today to not listen to crazy things that you hear out there, and instead give yourself the gift of health, see what this can do for you, and give yourself that chance of feeling your best. One of the cool things is when you do a microdose level of GLP-1, you're giving yourself those health benefits. And when you hear all the negative things like, oh, I had stomach paralysis, or I got constipated, or I didn't feel good, or, all these different things that people might say, it's because they're doing too high of a dose for themselves. And so that's why I'm a huge fan of microdosing. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. I'll come back here later today and check them out. I hope this was helpful for you and that you get back with whoever invited you into this group and get started on your own GLP-1 journey, whether that's microdosing because you just want to have the health benefits, or maybe you want to lose 15 or less pounds of inflammation, or maybe you want to get on the weight loss portion of GLP-1, which I always recommend to my clients if they want to lose 20 pounds or more. And then once they get to their goal, we go back to microdosing. So if you have any questions, like I said, feel free to drop them below. Have a great day and make it a great day for others.